Hi, welcome to 229 Stratford. This is the first passive house that's being retrofitted on a freestanding house here in New York City. It's a passion project of mine. It also happens to be my own house. And we're doing a complete retrofit of the entire house. We're also trying to keep a lot of the character of the old Victorian houses here in Ditmas Park. And so we've had a lot of challenges to try and make everything fit and work into the neighborhood, but so far it's actually working out really well, and we're very pleased with how the project is coming along. We're going to have solar shingles on the roof so as not to stand out and keep the historic character of the home, and I'd love to take you on a quick tour of the house. Come along. Come on into the house. Watch your step. Welcome to the interior of the house. Right when you walk in, you can see the ERV system is being put in. We're also putting in the LED lighting. One of the main things that we're doing with this house as well is to make it extremely energy efficient. So it's not just about insulation, it's also about creating energy efficiency from the appliances to the lighting to all the systems that function within the house and the energy use that they have. Hopefully we'll be able to run everything off of our solar and have some excess energy left over as well. Here you can see more of the tubing for the ERV systems that we're putting in. Here we are on the exterior of the house in the backyard. Here's the whole crew from Jay's Contracting.
Everybody wave!
All licensed from for Passive House. And we got Staj over here who's our architect. And right now they're looking at the exterior of the house where we've basically dug a moat around the house, and we're going down to do insulation around the exterior of the foundation of the house to protect both from water seepage and from the cold air getting in the winter time. Staj, you want to tell us a little bit about the house and how you're doing the project?
I'm Stash from ZH Architects. So this is going to be a passive house. It's going to meet not only the latest energy standards, but way beyond that. And it's going to answer what I think we really need to do, which is to improve our existing building stock. So it's a great example of this. So it's going to be some waterproofing and insulation below ground, and then we're going to, above ground, have similar amount of insulation, about 7.5 to 8 inches of mineral wool wrapping the whole building. And this is why this comes out to this extent, because we want to have the windows coming out all the way outside to be all in line with the insulation. So this is all going to be wrapped, and then the whole building will look like this again with the cladding once that insulation is added to that.
Staj, where are the windows from?
The windows are from Germany, from Optowin. And they're going to be triple glazed. They're really an amazing window. In a building like this, the window is actually like a radiator. It produces more heat than it lets out. And that's the big difference between this building that Bo and Itzy are creating for themselves and a regular house out there. It's a totally different concept. Very comfortable. It has the energy recovery ventilator that maybe you could talk about. And then a very tight, efficient envelope. So you need very little heating to keep it nice and cozy.
Let's go inside again with Stash and take a look at some of the things that we're doing on the inside of the house. Hey, here we are in the master bath. Stash is going to tell a little bit about the insulation that we're doing, which is all Roxol, both on the interior and the exterior of the house, and how much we're packing in to get to Passive House standards.
So we're using Roxol insulation here, mineral wool. We're insulating between all of the existing studs, and then on the outside of the building we're going to be applying a similar type of mineral wool insulation, a total of about 7.5 inches total. So we'll have a really energy efficient R35 or 38, I think, is the total wall. It's going to be pretty amazing. And then between this existing stud wall and the new insulation, we're going to have a special air barrier system that's going to make this whole building very airtight. So instead of having to worry about all these little joints in the existing building, we're literally wrapping the whole building with a special type of plywood that has very good air barrier characteristics.
What are we using for the exterior on the air barrier? Is it a zip system?
It's a zip system, yeah. Zip system, and then I think maybe you want to talk a little bit about the ERV system.
Yeah, so the ERV system, as you can see, is going to be in every room. We've got air handlers that will be up on the third floor, which we'll go up and show you in just a second right now. Here we are on the third floor, just underneath the roof. Up here you can see where we put our air handlers. We've got Mitsubishi split systems, and then we've got the ERV from Zender. And the Zender system is going to be able to probably get about a 98 to 99% efficiency on the heat exchange. So we're going to lose very little heat or cooling during the summers. Vlad, you want to tell why you picked the system and
yeah, we picked the system because, as Bo had mentioned, it has a very high efficiency ratio, both in the summer and in the winter. And basically it ensures that, unlike a lot of houses, modern houses nowadays that are getting more airtight, you need a balanced ventilation system. So you're bringing in cold air from the outside and transferring the heat from the warm air inside, and ensuring that you have really good ventilation inside, but also filtered air. So that's, I think, a really important thing about this building. And there's also, you can see a little picture of the membrane, the Intello membrane that you can see on the side there. That's the air barrier that we're using in the roof of this building on the third floor. So we're using a slightly different system up here so that we can ensure that the whole envelope of the building is really well air sealed.
So here you can see the Intello air barrier, also vapor barrier on the inside of the house. So why do we use it both on the inside and on the outside, Stash?
Well, in the roof section, we're using this in this section, and what we're doing is we're going to have an internal cavity here that with the sheetrock, and so that we don't perforate any of this air barrier at any stage, and that's because, you know, in old homes we have holes and things like that. We don't want that in this house, so we create a special cavity on the inside that is protected. And in terms of the question about having an air barrier in roof situations with this amount of insulation, we like to use these types of membranes in terms of making sure that there is no dew point happening within the wall at any point. So this is a really good, safe option for roof situations.
What kind of tape did you use to seal it all up with?
So the tape that they use here is a tape called Tescon Vana, and it's a tape that lasts a long time. There have been tests done on these types of buildings, and they last for literally, I mean, they've taken buildings apart that are 20 years old, and this tape is still there. And the reason why we use this tape is that at certain places this has been pinned to the structure behind, and we want to make sure that there's no air loss through that. So the gaps or the seams are all taped, and then any of the staple points are also taped.
And how important is it to really get a tight envelope? Like,
it's really important. Passive House has to reach a very tight air tightness number. This is going to be a certified Passive House project, as you know, and we're going to be doing a blower door test very shortly to see how we're doing in the building. So I guess we'll stay tuned and we'll
invite you back for that one.